Hey y'all, welcome to the Style Chronicles. I thought I would do a really quick little MAC haul and one Chanel product that I wanted to haul. I needed to get some more foundation, so I picked up the MAC Studio Fix Fluid in NC15. I just keep going back to this as my everyday, mostly because the color matches me so perfectly. I like the way it wears. I am very oily. I do have to touch up during the day. But for me, the color match is what I'm after. I used to be a big fan of the Revlon Color Stay for during the day, every day. However, it's too pink for me. The formulation apparently has changed and it's just not, it does not match my skin anymore. So this matches. It is coverage that I love, and it just lasts as long as I need it to last. As long as I do powder my nose about lunchtime, it'll last me all day long. So that's the MAC Studio Fix Fluid. I do have a pump. I bought this off of the MAC website for like $9, and I just use the same one. So there's that. Then I needed to pick up another lingering brow pencil. This is what I do my brows with, and then I fill them in with powder. I'm really liking doing my brows that way, and this color just, it's perfect. My hair is a little light right now. I like it a little bit darker. I'm getting ready to touch up the dye again, so when I do, it'll match perfectly, but that's the lingering brow pencil. And then I had like 3 foundations, 3 MAC lingering eye pencils that I could back to MAC, and so I picked up a lipstick, and the one I picked up is the Myth Satin Lipstick, and I was in between Myth and Creme de Nude, and the guy, and I said I want a nude that's not going to settle into my fine lines, and he suggested Myth. So that's the one I got, and then when I got home and tried it on, I thought, I don't know if this is the right shade. Maybe I should have gotten Creme de Nude. I'm not exactly sure, but this is Myth. And it's just, it's like a cult MAC favorite, but very, very nude, and it doesn't look so bad here. When I put it on, that doesn't look so bad. When I put it on in the bathroom, it had almost kind of like an orange look to it. Maybe you can see it a little bit. It's supposed to be nude, so I like that it nudes out, but I don't know, to me, in the mirror in my bathroom, it has a very orange cast. And of course, that's not going to pick up here because I do have a light pointed at me just so that I'm brighter. But yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I will Instagram a picture of this and share it with you guys. And you guys let me know what you think. I think Creme de Nude might be a little better for my skin tone. I've read that Myth is like a cult favorite with people who are a little bit darker than I am. I'm about an NC15 in MAC, so that's pretty pale. I read a lot of like NC45 and NC30 that love it, so it might have something to do with the skin tone. But that's Myth. And then I'm going to take it off because there was a Cremesheen on display there that and when I say we, I mean my daughter and I, she's like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty, it's pink, and then it drew my attention and I was like, oh yes. So it's a Cremesheen glass and it's called Double Dare. And it looks like this, and it just was so beautiful in store that we picked it up, and I do mean me, even though my daughter picked it out. She's not allowed to wear makeup yet, but she likes to pick lipsticks and lip gloss colors. So it's a little different than a pink I would have gone for. I would have gone for something more baby or more fuchsia, but I think it's a really great kind of everyday pink color. And of course, I'm going to look washed out. What if I do that? Does that help at all? Not really, huh? Okay. Well, I'll Instagram a photo of this too so you guys can see that because it's really beautiful. And then I picked up another eyeshadow, one that I have never had. It's called Coppering. It's Volux Pearl. I do have it on right now close to my lash line, blended out with the MAC Urban Decay Naked Basics palette, and I'm really liking it. I probably won't do these two things together because this is a very red, it's supposed to be copper, but it is more red, copper penny colored than anything else. So here is Coppering, and it's just a very pretty red copper color. There's no brown to it whatsoever. So when you think, like when I think copper, I think like a brown copper penny. There's a little bit of brown to it, not so much red, because pennies are not typically that red. I'll show you what I mean. with a dirty old penny. See, that's what I think of. I think more brown than red tone, but copper is copper. So yeah, it's a little bit more red than I would typically work with, but I've seen it done in such beautiful ways if you do it the right way. So I'm playing around with it, trying to figure out what the right way for me is, and so far I'm liking it. This is just what I did today. That's that. And then the other thing I wanted to share with you guys is I know I shared that I had picked up a MAC 224 brush, and I picked this up because I've been a fan of MAC 217. This is one of the first brushes that I bought by MAC. There's 3 brushes that I initially bought when I started wearing makeup in high school, and this was one of them, and I've had it since then. It's super duper worn. When I was looking at the new 217s in store, they look like bushier, fuller and bushier, and just like wow. And I asked the lady, I said, did y'all redo your brush, because mine does not look like that. Mine is not as like full and bushy. And she's like, well, how old is yours? And I said, well, it's probably like 15 years old. And she's like, well, that's why it's lost a lot of hair, it's been worn. And I thought, oh, you're right. You know, I mean, I wash it, I clean it, you know, I use it every day. So yeah, it's very worn. But I love it. I mean, I would not repurchase a 217 because this one is just so amazing. So anyway, back to what I was originally going to say is this has been my blender brush forever, for years, since I started wearing makeup. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Don't get me wrong. It is perfect to blend out creases. However, if you want a very diffused, very blended, very soft look, this one does not give me the soft blendability that this 224 does. This is like, I mean, I should have had this one before I ever had this one. This is great for smoky eye if you're using more than, let's say, 2 colors in the smoky eye. So if you're blending like a dark black into a medium brown, this diffuses the line perfectly. This, however, blends out that crease transition, or just that crease look if you are like me and you have very small lids. So this one is what I use in here to blend all up here, and I love it. I mean, just 2 or 3 swipes and it's blended, and it just looks nice and pulled together, literally right here. And it's super soft, and it just does that. Now it might be because mine is so worn out, and that's why, because it's denser, you know, I just use it here in the crease. And that's, you know, I get that. When I use it everywhere else, I tend to have to blend way more than I ever should have, like to the point where I can feel the brushes on my lid when I'm driving to work, and I'm like, wow, I must have blended really hard because I can still feel the brush. And this one I don't have to. I mean, you just literally run it like this along, and that's it. Now, it does not work so much out here, like I said, as this one does for blending for me. But yeah, so the 224 I'm absolutely loving, and there's a difference. Of course, mine, like I said, is really worn out, so you may not be able to even tell the difference. But I wish I had started with the 224 when I initially bought a blending brush. So now, when I say I need a blending brush, this is like the one that I go to. And this is the other one that I definitely still need, because I do need it for that outer area. But this one, I think, is just awesome. And lastly, I broke down and I got the Chanel Tan De Soleil, or Soleil Tan de Chanel, the Bronze Universal Bronzing Makeup Base. I thought these came in 2 colors. They only come in 1. And it looks scary. Woo! Super scary, super dark. But it is the perfect. I don't bronze. I don't put it everywhere in bronze. I use this strictly for contouring. So right here where you see a little bit of a contour, right there, right here, you'll see a little bit of a contour, and then down the sides of my nose where I like to contour. That is what I use this for. And I've been using an e.l.f. brush because I'm trying to find a brush that is a good fit. I'm using an angled e.l.f. brush, which pretty much is my MAC blush brush, the 242, I think, or 236, I don't remember. But it's angled. But I will let you guys know. I'll give a better review on the Chanel Tan De Soleil and let you guys know which brush I land with, which one I end up using, because even though I like the way that brush is applying, it's leaving, do you see the little hairs? It's leaving little hairs in the bronzing base. So I'm kind of like, I don't like that. I'm looking for a brush that's not going to do that, but that has the same kind of feel to it. I don't want something with a big head. It has to be kind of small because I just want it for contouring this area and then down the sides of my nose. So I will let you guys know what I end up using, but I'm absolutely loving it. It looks so scary in the tin because it looks like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be, you know, that much darker. But really, you know, I'm an NC15. Like I said, I'm very, very pale, and it blends in very, very nicely into my skin for what I want it to do. Now, I have tried it all over. I don't like the look of my skin tanned or bronzed. So for me, it doesn't work like that, but for me, it works perfectly as a contour. And you can see, you know, how pale I am. The shading actually is really good. So I think if you're very, very pale, this would work extremely well. But I also think if you're tan, it would work well too. I have yet to try it on somebody darker than me. Like my sister is about 2 shades darker than me, and I've got a friend who's darker than that even, and I've yet to try it on them, and they're kind of my test subjects. They're my little test bunnies. Whenever I find something I love, if I want to know if it matches other, you know, skin tones, I'll test things on them and see how it looks, and then I know that it's pretty universal. So, okay, that is that. Those are my purchases. Hope you guys are having a wonderful week, and I do have a lot of things I need to review with you guys. The Tan De Soleil being only one of them. There are several makeup products that I have found and loved, and I just have yet to really, you know, concentrate on reviews. I've just been kind of outfit of the days, helping my husband recuperate from he had his wisdom teeth pulled, and he's going to be 40 this year, so it was an ordeal. He's still in a lot of pain. It's 2 weeks in. He had some complications, so yeah, doing that, and then my son, having a bunch of stuff done with him. My daughter and her school are testing this week, so it's been crazy, but I hope to be back with reviews full time, and of course my outfit of days never go away. You can always catch me on Instagram. I Instagram every day if I can. Sometimes I will Instagram once a day, sometimes I will literally Insta-bomb you with just picture after picture. So yeah, you can always catch me there. I do tweet everything that I do, whether it's Instagram or, you know, video or a blog post. I tweet everything. Everything is always on my blog. Also, you can go there and look. Sometimes it's just pictures. When I do reviews, I'll do a write-up, but that's usually just kind of what you can see where I've been or what I'm doing. And that's it. So as usual, you can always contact me by email if you really need to ask me something. I'm always available. So thanks so much for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.